Hello, peeps. How you all doing? Have you all done the clock change thing? You all totally confused what time of day or night it is? When I used to worry about time, it always used to take me a week or a month to get over that. Now I don't worry too much. My phone does it for me. Anyway, where am I? Pilsen, Czech Republic. Parked up on a hill overlooking the city. About 15 minutes walk down the road to the nearest city area. And I'm here because Bill is poorly. She started making black smoke about 3-4 days ago. Done all the normal things, checked my filters, checked all my hoses. Next thing I'm really going to have to clean the EGR, whatever it is, and hope it's not the injectors. I took a walk into the town yesterday, try and find a garage on one of the industrial estates, and then found a couple of bars to see if I could find somebody who spoke English, knew a mechanic, see if I could get something sorted. And no. So today I'm sitting here with the bonnet up, hoping somebody comes along. Really, it's a public viewing spot, so there's people passing through all the time. If not, Monday I'll call recovery and get them to recover me to a garage and see what happens then. Hope I can stay in Bill, because if not, I'm going to have to go Airbnb. Budget thing. Anyway, that's my situation at the moment. Sat in a car park with me bonnet up. The grid. Why am I at the edge of the grid, not on the grid? Well, the grid is knackered. We've got a whole raft in our society, if we have a society, that gets points for keeping us down. If you think about Pip and the people that died because of the way that was managed, there were people who were actually getting KPIs, key performance indicators, ticks on their boxes, to not process them, or to process them slowly, or to get them wrong, because the less money they paid out, the better ticks they got. That is just inherently wrong. We've got I worked in it myself. I worked to KPIs when I was working for the railways. We used to call ourselves the administsphere, which a mate of mine made that word up, and I love that word, and I'm going to put it in a poem one day. Who are just there to stop it happening, stop us surviving. Where was I? I listen to Radio 4 News every now and again on the old interweb thingy, and every day, every other day, there's another system that's failed. At the moment, you've got the sewerage problem. It's been going on for 20 years. They dump sewerage into our water, and they pay out massive dividends to the shareholders. They're more worried about paying out the dividends and doing the job they're contracted for. That's just not right. The system is broken. The grid is broken. And I think the first noticeable spike, and this might sound funny, the noticeable spike that made me realise it was just wrong, was when the producers of Blue Peter were done for fiddling competition results. They were giving them out to their nephews and nieces, what prizes out to their nephews and nieces, because it was easier than actually doing the job they're paid to do. And these are people on serious wages. It's just wrong, it's broken. Anyway, that's why I don't want to feed the grid. Next, my backdrop. I changed my backdrop Still got the Spitfire with the Normandy invasion markings. I've got Trish's waistcoat up, which I brought off Trish at the Overland show, the spring one. Great show, go. And that plaque up there is the 3-div plaque. That's what we got when we left 3-div headquarters in Signal Regiment, a line troop, way back in the day. Now some people. The first one I want to mention is Pagan in a Van, Terry. Terry sadly passed recently. I never met the guy. Don't think we even corresponded. But when I was first looking at this idea of moving into a van, I had an LDV convoy minibus and put a bed in and some basics in and was seriously thinking about it. And I came across him on the old Facebook. He worked on building sites then. He was a crane operator, you know, the big massive cranes, and used to live on site in his van and then go to the next job. And it just, yeah, he just came across, and he was the spark really that set this going, got me going. Bless him, and I hope his onward journey is not too fraught. He's a good guy. Felix. Felix I met when LDV related. The lovely Elizabeth up in Dumfries and Galloway came up on one of the Facebook groups, Van Life Facebook groups, and said, I got a van I've just brought in Glastonbury. Would anybody willing to go down and collect it for me? So I said, yeah, I will pay my expenses. I don't want any money, I'll go do that. So I drove up to Dumfries and Galloway in Aurora, the van I was in then, the LDV. Parked on a drive, she put me on the train, I went to Glastonbury. Felix picked me up in a beat up old Land Rover that was just fantastic. Took me out to this place which was, I can only describe as Scrappy Challenge training ground. There was all sorts there. It's not his, he parks there. Felix does chill out zones, he's a festie, does the festivals, does all the big ones, Glastonbury, all them people in one place. Ugh. And he's got a big inflatable tent and he runs silent movies. And anyway, I picked up the van, said hi, said bye, drove off thinking, this clutch isn't very good. Hung a right, went up biggest hill in Somerset, clutch went halfway up. Anyway, managed to get hold of Felix. He turned up in a wrecker that was a flatbed wrecker that was in worse state than the Land Rover. But anyway, we got the this LDV on the back. Took it back to the place he was and changed the clutch. 24 hours. Great service. But anyway, while I'm there, I'm chatting to Felix, and he was just one of the wisest men I've ever met. He just, you know, he'd lived life, knew stuff, and was happy to share it. Just kind of flicked a few switches in the back of my head. Yeah, Felix is a great guy. If you ever meet him, say hi from me. He's a good lad. Alan looks after Bill. He's got a place. He was a vanner. He still lives in his van. He's got a Luton next to his garage on an old smiley face Transit. And he can best be described as a motor vehicle artisan. If it's bust, he can fix it. Builds a Transit. She gets a little bit of a rust problem, especially around her ass. And he has a look and welds it. And if he hasn't got the seal, he makes one. He keeps saying every time I come round he's going to buy a set of seals, but hey, he just knocks one up. He's a great guy, artisan, does diesel heaters and all sorts of stuff. wickedwagons.co.uk is his website. Just south of Gloucester he's based. Yeah, good guy. And he's, yeah, good chatting to him when he's crawling around under my van, welding it together. And now, finally, today is James. James lives in an Iveco minibus, and you've probably might have seen him at the Stonehenge, or you might see him at Glastonbury. You can all tell James when it's sunny, he's got his umbrella up. But he showed me some park ups, introduced me to some people way back after the first lockdown, when I started to go from just being a solo vanner to realising there was lots of other vanners vanning. And he's quite a clever guy. He spends a lot of time in Swindon with his poorly dad, but he was quite inspirational, quite teaching on van life, do's and don'ts. So that's my people for today. Now a story from 3 Div headquarters in 2nd Regiment Lima Troop. I started off in 2 Squadron, then got moved to 3 Squadron. So while we were there, Bulford, any proper soldiers out there will know that I was a Remph at the rear with the gear, all signals. I've been so close to the front line, I've had generals in front of me. Scary. But anyway, we had a really great colonel there, and there was an infantry battalion or whatever, might have just been a company, but they were supposed to go to Kenya and they couldn't for something else had come up. There's a British military got training area in Kenya, Smalls Farm, Nanuki, places like that. Weekend R&R and Mombasa. Wow. So this battalion couldn't go, so he volunteered us for go. So next thing you know, we're doing intensive training, getting prepped, and off we go to a 6-week exercise in Kenya, doing infantry patrol tactics. A lot of long range patrols, 8 men, off you go, wandering in the bush. Now the bush can be a dangerous place. There's things that bite you and lick you to death, and anyway. So when we went out on patrol, we were all blank ammunition, but one guy always had 10 rounds live, just in case there was an incident with the wildlife. So I wasn't. This isn't me in this story. This was something that happened there. This patrol's walking along through the bush and upsets a rogue or a bull elephant. I think he was doing what bull elephants like to do with lady elephants, and this elephant was pretty upset with us, so he charged him. Now we were all told that you couldn't outrun an elephant. There's not many things you can outrun, which is why one guy always had 10 rounds. Now the guy that was this incident involved wasn't the live armed guy. So anyway, he hears this elephant is thundering right up at him and behind him. He knows he can't outrun it, so he bangs his belt, throws his kit off, his Bergen and everything, and darts off into the undergrowth. And the elephant kills his kit, drops its trunk on it, stamps all over it. So a little while later they all go back to try and find this guy's kit. The elephant's gone, and the kit's about the size of a shoebox and about a foot into the ground. So they scoop it all up and head on back to base. Don't think anything more of it. Everyone survived, no real problem. Bit frightened, a bit shook up maybe, but hey, just been charged by an elephant. So they get back to base. Guy gets new kit. And next time they go out on patrol, nobody's thinking anything of it, except it's his turn to have the 10 rounds live. So they're out walking, about 10 minutes out on a walk, a bullfrog goes croak, 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 and this guy gives it 10 rounds rapid. So anyway, he wasn't allowed out on patrol for a while. One of the other things that happened out there is we got a lot of training on wildlife, and if you get a water buffalo will stand around chewing the grass for 20 years, get really pissed off, and end up and attack something. And if you just happen to be the people walking past, it'll rush you, and you can bounce an SLR around off the forehead of a water buffalo. Anyway, but the other thing was the snakes. The cobras rise up, spit in your eye, which is an acid. So if somebody gets spat in the eye with an acid, you've got to get an alkaline on it as fast as possible, and the quickest way is lie them down and piss in their face. So we always used to make the officers walk at the front. Anyway, that was Adventures of 3 Red Cords and Cedar Regiment in Kenya. There is more. Maybe I'll tell you sometime. And now, a poem. I think I got my markers all in the right place again. This one goes back to what I was ranting about at the beginning. Cities aren't for us. Cities are for control, where the state owns your very soul. To stay, your spirit is the toll. To leave by van is my plan. The grid is great, but when it is governed wrong, it will devastate. The grid is good. The grid good things can create. Stay at the edge. Don't feed the mistake. And back to people. The waistcoat they're made by Trish and I believe her daughter. They're fantastic. I love it. But this is Trish. Small and wild from the west she wanders, bringing smiles and other wonders. Sets her stall, to enthrall, all sweet and neat. To know is a treat that helps make your life complete. Thank you, Trish. I love my waistcoat. I got mates rates. And this is one I wrote about somebody I know. A lady of the land, toes in the sand, good earth in the hand, pulling her bounty, pounding and peddling the lanes that she loves, building shelter. I've lost the word now. Building shelter from the stars above. Anyway, that's about somebody I know. I'll put a little update up midweek about Bill. Let you know if I'm on the road again or I'm going to be sitting this part of the Czech Republic for a week or so. And my final thoughts for the day. The zombies are here. The disease is called greed. Happy travels, peeps.